Thank you all so much for joining us today. We are going to get started. So my name is Tahira Chrisman. I'm the Membership Director here at the Council on Foundations. We're grateful that you took some time out of your day today to talk about the renewal process for 2020 and some of the initiatives that we have planned as a membership benefit. We're grateful that you joined the call today, and we hope that this information is informative and engaging. If you have questions throughout, feel free to use the chat pod, or you can always email us at membership@cof.org. We have a lot on the agenda today, including background on how the Council is reimagining its place in the sector and how our new approach to membership is impacting our 2020 renewal cycle. So we will give you a sneak peek into some of what we have in store for 2020 that we hope is most relevant for this audience. But I want to go into some introductions. Again, my name is Tahira Chrisman. I'm the Membership Director, and I lead our team in membership renewal, recruitment, and engagement. And on my team, I'm joined by Carrie Robinson, our Membership Manager, and Philip Blackman, our Membership Associate. If you are ever calling the Council or emailing us, we three are likely the first ones that you are interacting with. And so we have this extreme pleasure and honor of serving you in that. On this call, you'll be hearing from Stephanie Powers, our Senior Advisor on Public Policy and Partnership and a true asset to this field. She'll chat with you in just a bit about our organizational priorities in disaster philanthropy and public policy. But first, I'll introduce you to Natalie Ross, our VP of Resource Development and Strategic Operations. Natalie was a key contributor and facilitator to our new dues policy, and she'll talk about how we got where we are today. Natalie?
Great. Thanks, Tahira, and it's wonderful to talk to all of you. I actually came to the Council 5 years ago from a member who is a public charity, and so it's great to be in conversation with our public charity members. So 2019 has been an incredibly exciting year of transition and growth for the Council. We kicked off the year by relocating to a new office. We were previously in Virginia and are now back in the District of Columbia. We also welcomed a new president and CEO in Kathleen Enright in the first quarter of this year. And throughout this year, we've had a number of priorities that have really shaped our work. So on this slide is a picture from our national conference, which was held in Miami in April. That Leading Together 2019 conference is a real priority for us this year. And it was an exciting time to bring together over 900 philanthropic leaders from around the country and around the world to talk about how to collaborate and how to work together to solve big, hairy problems. The quote on the screen about "we cannot possibly transform the world unless we're also willing to transform ourselves" is a great connection to many of our priorities this year. With Kathleen's arrival, we've really focused internally on strengthening ourselves to be as effective as possible for the sector and to be a good fit for our members. So in that, we had 3 different things that we focused on this year. First, we've been working on an updated mission, vision, and value proposition. That's work with Council staff and our board that will complete at the beginning of 2020 and help us guide our work going forward. Kathleen has also been around the country in listening sessions in partnership with regional philanthropy partners to hear directly from foundation leaders about what they want and need from the Council, what we're doing well, and what we can improve. And then third, and what we're talking about today, we made a commitment at the beginning of this year to reimagine Council membership. And that has been a wonderful process that I'm excited to tell you about. So reimagining Council membership started at the beginning of the year and was very focused on making sure that we heard from as many foundation leaders as possible about how we can improve Council membership. We heard from, in the end, over 500 different foundation leaders through a survey, focus groups, interviews, a task force, and an ongoing open email inbox at dues@cof.org. Throughout that process, we heard that our current membership model was not working, that we had a one-size-fits-all model that didn't distinguish between the diversity of our member types and was not effectively pricing membership in a way that was fair for many members. The Council has also had a reduction in membership over the last several years, and through our conversations with the field, over half of the conversations we had were with resigned members who really want to come back to the council but needed us to change our model. If you'd like to see more about what we learned and what we heard through those conversations, we have several blogs with major findings from our survey and our focus groups on the website at cof.org/forward, and you can go to see more of what we learned. So next, I think Tahira is going to talk about our current membership.
Thanks, Natalie. So as you heard, the council is really a hub for various grant makers of all different sizes and focus areas, and so we provide services to meet their unique needs. So of our public charities, we have 9% of our organization is made up of that, as well as community foundations, corporate grant makers, private grant makers, and associate members, which are some of our service organizations. So as we think about member benefits in 2020, we will continue to offer services to public charities members that we heard that you all value the most, including on-demand access to our legal team on issues such as supporting scholarship programs, international grant making, and disaster relief, access to annual convenings such as the HR Summit and Endowments and Finance Summit, which we'll talk about a little bit later, exclusive access to more than 300 member-only resources, including recently updated sample documents such as fund agreements, policy documents, and other templates, free access to our regularly updated legal compendium with chapters including supporting organizations and foundation finance and investment management, as well as trainings, webinars, and learning opportunities that are specifically tailored for public charities. So now we're going to talk with Stephanie, who will give us a little bit of taste on our organizational priorities in 2020. Stephanie?
Thanks, Tahira, very much, and thanks to my colleagues for including this in the conversation today. So I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about the priorities and the work of our teams on disaster philanthropy and disaster response and public policy. So I'm going to start with disaster response, and to tell you that the council believes that disaster response is a core organizational function for us. And we really work to provide timely and relevant connections and communication support for members that are affected by natural disasters. And also, we have found ourselves increasingly providing support and connecting our members who have been traumatized, their communities have been traumatized by man-made disasters. A lot of the mass shootings that we have seen in the country over the last 2 years are a good example. But we are trying to help our members to be more effective in their disaster grant making, and the activities that we engage in fall into 3 main areas. The first is facilitating the connections between experienced grant makers and the impacted members in a timely fashion to share lessons, advice, ideas, resources, and tools. And we were pretty exercised in this arena in the 2017 hurricane season with the hurricanes in the Caribbean. The second area that we focus on is sharing knowledge resources, including materials that we might develop ourselves, as well as materials developed by our partnership with the Center for Disaster Philanthropy, which is a formal partner of the Council in disaster response and recovery as well. The third area is around ensuring that members are aware of the relevant public resources, particularly the recovery assistance resources through federal agencies such as FEMA and HUD and other federal departments for impacted individuals, businesses, and nonprofits. And I'm happy to answer more specific questions about this when we have our Q&A time. But I'm going to quickly move on then to our public policy strategies and what our goals are. I'm going to speak a little bit about our goals for 2020 as we're steeped in our planning process right now. The Council has been refreshing and rebuilding its public policy function, and we now have aligned it much more closely with our communications team as well, as we think that government affairs and strategic communications really go hand in hand. And we have renamed our department actually as our Government Affairs and Strategic Communications team. So our goals for 2020 are to build strong relationships with Capitol Hill and the sitting administration to positively impact legislation and regulations that really promote the common good. And also to positively impact the federal programs at federal agencies that strengthen communities as well. Our second goal for 2020, as we're redesigning, is to increase philanthropy support for and engagement with policy and advocacy, so that foundations can actually provide more and more effective support to help nonprofits then promote the greater good. So it's really about building the capacity of foundations themselves to be better advocates around the public policy issue. A little bit more on an internal goal, but very important, is a rebranding process that we would anticipate going through so that the Council has a very clear identity with its messages that effectively communicate with our key audiences. And in public policy, our key audiences are not only our members, but also the field writ large, and as well as all of our public policy stakeholders, such as members of Congress and members of an administration and the federal agencies. And our fourth area that we're going to concentrate on this year is to position the Council as a prominent unifying voice in the sector by sharing the good work of philanthropy through innovative storytelling, collaborative marketing strategies with our partners in Washington. There are other national philanthropic organizations here that are representing their members' interests, as well as our partners in regional associations and other philanthropy-serving organizations. So Tahira, I'm going to stop right there, and if there are questions to specifically dig into any of these with objectives, I'm happy to do that later.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Stephanie.
Great. This is Natalie, and I'm also going to talk about some of the other priorities that we have on our plate for 2020. And as mentioned earlier, there are several convenings that take place annually or biannually, which will be occurring in the upcoming year. So first, our annual HR Summit will again be happening next year. It's an opportunity for a number of our members who have a formal HR staff person in their organization to come together and talk about trends in talent management. In recent years, this summit has focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion through a partnership with Change Philanthropy, and that will continue into the future. In 2020, we're also repeating our Public Policy Summit, which we first held in 2018. We're excited to talk about changes and developments and thinking about how philanthropy can leverage advocacy and public policy to impact the issues that they care about and work on. So we're excited to bring that to our community in 2020 and work with many members to inform and design the summit to be helpful and useful for them in their work. Planning is also underway for our biannual national conference, the Leading Together Conference, which will next be taking place in 2021. And so we're excited to spend next year really thinking about how to make that convening for all of our members to come together as effective as possible. So we hope that you'll save, if you're interested in some of our 2020 convenings, we're hoping to publish a calendar of events in the coming months, and that you'll have time in your calendar and your budget to join with your peer members in person at these convenings to talk about the issues that really matter to you and your work.
Awesome, great. Thanks so much, Natalie and Stephanie, for that. So I'm going to talk now about the new model and what that means as we get closer to our renewal season. So as Natalie mentioned earlier, we've sort of gotten rid of this one-size-fits-all model, and we have a new membership model that's determined by size of your organization and type. So in order to determine your 2020 membership contribution, you will self-report information from your most recently completed fiscal year. And that we have some bands on the next slide that you'll see. Also new this year is an ability to choose your renewal month that works best for you. So only this year are we offering the opportunity for you to choose a renewal month or an anniversary month, and every year thereafter we will bill you on that month. So we're getting rid of the sort of calendar renewals and working towards an anniversary renewal that works best for you in your billing and budget cycles. So under our new membership model, public charities will report the management and general expense portion of their total functional expense from their most recently completed fiscal year to determine their annual membership contribution. Knowing that many public charities operate funds on behalf of the American public and other nonprofit organizations, we recognize that both grant making and assets are not a realistic determination of your ability to pay for council membership. So that's why we chose a more equitable line there. And we also lowered dues for our small and medium-sized members because we want the council community to represent the breadth of American philanthropy today. Our lowest membership is now $1,000. Under our original model, it was $1,500. On our next slide, we'll talk a bit about public operating foundations are a new sect that we want to acknowledge that this type of organization is a little bit different. So we understand that public operating foundations are structured differently. And for public operating foundations with grant making less than their management and general expenses, they will pay using a private foundation model, which is based on assets. And you can see that on the screen here to determine their annual contributions. We believe that this new membership model is, again, more equitable, transparent, and fair. And what we have seen so far under our new model, which just launched 6 weeks ago, is that our members are saying that this is exactly what they need, and we are seeing members come back almost daily based on our new model. So what's next? So we've adjusted our renewal cycle, again, moving from an annual to an anniversary renewal. This way, this gives you more opportunity to pay. So with these changes, we are also introducing an opportunity to contribute to the council through a greater good circle. This is a gift that will help us advance philanthropy in pursuit of the greater good. So here's what we're asking for you to do next is complete an online intention form by the end of the year by going to cos.org/renew to let us know what your intentions are. These intentions will allow us to determine how to engage with your organization throughout the year and into next year as it relates to your council membership. Letting us know if you are committed to renewing your council membership, if there are additional conversations or opportunities in where you can engage the council team, letting us know, and what other things might be on your list of priorities that we should be aware of. So once we receive your intent to renew, we will send you a renewal notice a month prior to your selected renewal month, and that will allow you to pay your council membership when it makes the most sense for you. So great. Thank you all for coming. We see that there are some questions coming in, so we'll give that some time. You can send in any questions through the chat forum or contacting membership@cos.org, either during this webinar or anytime after. So someone is asking what will happen if their membership is increasing this year, and that's a great question. What we are offering is a 3-year phased increase of your new membership contribution total. We understand that not every organization might be prepared to make an additional membership cost. So we will absolutely work with you one-on-one with that, and we are offering a phased increase for all of our public charity members. If you'd like to talk about that more, we welcome you to email us at membership@cos.org, and someone on the membership team will be in touch with you to work through that. option. So some of the reactions that we've gotten from the new model, we've definitely seen an increase in community foundations and other foundations responding to the model. We welcome any opportunity to connect with you more about how the model is providing opportunity for your organization. Again, this is sort of our response to hearing member feedback. And so we are eager to hear additional feedback from you.
Tahir, could I also, this is Stephanie, I wanted to also offer here that if anyone listening would like to get in touch about our public policy or disaster response priorities for next year, or to be more actively involved, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me directly, and would be more than happy to have a phone conversation to query how you could become more active next year with us.
That's awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. Well, awesome. This has been great. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact the membership team. We are eager to connect with you and to talk more. Over the next couple of weeks, you will be receiving a mailer that's talking about our membership renewal and the process through that, as well as additional emails about this if you have not yet responded to the renewal intention form. Again, we are asking for responses for that by the end of the year so that we can determine how to best engage your organization in 2020. Thanks so much. We appreciate this time with you today.